A pair of NFC contenders are one step away from playing in the Super Bowl. All this season, the New Orleans Saints and the Los Angeles Rams have been the best and second-best teams in the conference, and now both are in the NFC Championship Game. New Orleans defeated Los Angeles, 45-35, on November 4th in a game that saw the Saints hand the Rams their first loss of the season. Now, both will play for a berth in the Super Bowl. In November, the Drew Brees and the offense scored on 5 of their first 6 possessions, building up an impressive 35-17 halftime lead and held on in the second half to finish with a win. Michael Thomas made headlines that day by scoring a 72-yard touchdown from Brees and celebrating with a phone he hid underneath the goalpost in a tribute to Joe Horn. This time around, the Saints lead LA 13-10, after Todd Gurley was able to score a touchdown late in the second quarter, but this one has been pretty close so far. Here are some of the reactions from around the NFL to the first half of the game. The Rams, when everyone was trying to warn them that crowd noise would be a problem at the Superdome. The Rams were unable to get much of anything going in the first half, thanks to the crowd noise, and only until they ran a fake punt. Aaron Donald and Ndamukong Suh making an impact on the first drive. Donald with a pressure on first down, and Suh with a run stop on second down. Josh Katzenstein, @JKatzenstein, January 20, 2019. On the first play of the game, Aaron Donald got past Saints left guard Andrus Peat and got some serious pressure on Drew Brees in the pocket to force him into a late incompletion. Donald, combined with Ndamukong Suh, represents one of, if not the best, defensive front in football. Kamara with 2 catches early in the game. He's averaged 49.5 receiving yards per game since the start of last season, best among all RBs in NFL. This season, Kamara has averaged almost 50 receiving yards per game, the best mark among all running backs in the NFL in 2018. The Saints now have 27 takeaways this season, including playoffs. It is their most since 2009, when they had 47 en route to winning Super Bowl 44. Speaking of, it had been 1,904 days since Demario Davis recorded his one and only career and the 3rd of November 2013. This is one of the most balanced Saints teams they have had in the decade plus since Sean Payton has been head coach. Beautifully designed and executed pass from Drew Brees to Alvin Kamara out of the backfield to gain 21 on 3rd and 3, Mike Triplett, @MikeTriplett, January 20, 2019. Soon after, however, Brees connected with Alvin Kamara on a nearly indefensible pass on a wheel route that picked up more than 20 yards on 3rd down. Early on, the Saints were 2 of 2 on 3rd down. A minute later, Kamara got another first down to the Rams' 22-yard line against a linebacker in coverage. What a start for the Saints. Todd Gurley muffs that pass over the middle. It's an interception by Demario Davis and New Orleans can take a 2-score lead right out of the gates. Dan Woken, @DanWoken, January 20, 2019. The Saints had a very good start on both sides of the ball, moving downfield easily on offense, and then getting a pair of great plays from Demario Davis on defense on the Rams' initial possession, tackling Todd Gurley for a loss and then intercepting Jared Goff to put New Orleans in scoring position. Dan Arnold had a chance to make a great leaping catch against double coverage, but he couldn't hang on. Saints trying a field goal. Josh Katzenstein, @JKatzenstein, January 20, 2019. The Saints went for a touchdown play on 3rd and 7 in the first quarter, with Brees targeting tight end Dan Arnold, but he was unable to secure the catch all the way to the ground, and New Orleans instead elected to kick a field goal, taking the early 3-0 lead over the Rams. This could have been the early avalanche that often hits the road teams in New Orleans. The Rams D did a great job holding Saints to FGs, and that could be big as the game goes on. Tony Dungy, @TonyDungy, January 20, 2019. Unfortunately, the Saints were not able to capitalize off the Davis takeaway, instead getting conservative on their 3rd down call, and having to settle for a field goal, and the eventual 6-0 lead for the Saints in the first quarter. The Rams were lucky early to not be down by 2 touchdowns to this team. Josh Hill with a 24-yard but is now being checked on the sidelines. Amos Morale 3, at Amos Morale, January 20, 2019. Tight end Josh Hill got on the stat sheet with a nice 24-yard reception against the Rams, but was also the victim of a hard helmet-to-helmet collision. He had trouble getting up, and was immediately checked on the sideline and then taken to the Saints locker room for further evaluation. New Orleans leads 13-0 with 1:35 left in the first. Deuce Wyndham, at Rev Deuce Wyndham, January 20, 2019. Garrett Griffin isn't a name you hear very often, but the tight end came to play in the NFC Championship game, catching a 5-yard touchdown pass from Drew Brees to advantage the Saints' lead to 13-0 over the Rams. The Saints were faced with a 4th down, and got the Rams to jump over the line, setting up the 1st down, and a snap later, Brees connected with Griffin. Drew Brees has an "if you're open" policy. He's thrown a TD pass to 14 different players this season, including playoffs, the most in NFL history. Brees receivers by draft round: 1st round, 3 second round, 1 third round, 2 undrafted, 8. This season, Brees has thrown a touchdown pass far more frequently to an undrafted player than any other kind. 8 undrafted players have caught a touchdown from Brees, compared to just 3 to first-round picks. This is the first time Drew Brees has thrown for 100-plus yards in the first quarter of a playoff game, per at Penn State's info. Lindsey Theory, at Lindsey3, January 20, 2019. There is hardly a record that Drew Brees has not set during his Hall of Fame career, but on Sunday, the Saints quarterback established another personal benchmark, throwing for over 100 passing yards in the first quarter of a postseason game for the first time ever.